working on my craft and I've been studying my culture, taking everything I need. I'm coming like a vulture, I'm supposed to be a part of history. I'm understanding, it's starting to make sense to me. I took a minute, had to sit back, relax, and then I recap.
Welcome all y'all to the last sip. It's your boy Mac Mans, aka Motivational Muscle. Thank you for coming to the brew shop. Let's give ourselves a cheer and an applause here. Before we go, we're going to start with the agua, because here we do not spill tea, but we do take the last sip. That is something that's always going to be valuable to me here. Water, the life-giving gift, water. Got that. Also, y'all not being paid for this today, but I'm going to send y'all something else. I'm going to go ahead and start sponsoring myself. Now, when you're working out hard and you're trying to cut that extra weight off, like if you know me, I do the bodybuilding thing. I got some family members do it. I don't know what they use, but me, I use Animal Cuts. Animal Cuts is produced by Universal Nutrition. It's amazing. It has a probiotic in it. It has a diuretic in it. It has some energy in it, some caffeine. This is awesome. What is these little pill packs right here? These set you off. You take 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Boom, it's all ready to go. So if you get a chance, go to your local GNC, go to your local workout shop, nutrition shop. Tell them you want Animal Cuts. Tell them Mac Man sent you. All right, y'all. First off, to get it going, I want to thank everybody that's following me on YouTube at Motivational Muscle. That's muscle spelled M-U-Z-C-L-E 74. And I want to also thank everybody following me on Facebook, my fellow followers, my faithful. That's at Ontario Hill, Blue Check Verified. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. You guys, I hit a milestone. Now, some people don't get excited for little things like this, but I do. I finally had a video on my podcast go over 100 views. Now, to me, that means something. I'm excited about it. It makes me want to get up and dance. I'm happy about it. Now, to some people, it don't mean nothing. But to me, it means a lot because I've been working, been pushing. I've been on YouTube and social media for over 13 years. I got up 200 and something videos, and it's a grind. It's a grind. It takes a lot to not be envious. It takes a lot not to be upset and angry and just keep on pushing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put subjects out here that are important to me, things I think are important to you. And we're going to keep grinding together. So I want to thank you so much for giving me actually 100 views on one of my videos. It was the last one I did. About Fact or Fiction. I want to just thank you, give you an applause for that. Well, today's show is special to me. Today's show, we going old school as far as talking about a couple of people. Now, one person I'm not going to really go into much. The second artist I'm going to dig into more because of the things that he did and the things he said. And we're basically going to go into more of one of his songs, not particularly into everything that's going on. So to start the conversation, I'm going to talk about Prince and Michael Jackson and the music and the messages they put in their music. Now, if you guys know Prince, y'all know Prince was a party guy, the Minneapolis sound. He put it out there. From him came Morris Day and The Time, Vanity 6. You know what I'm saying? He was putting music out there and people was following him. Sheila E., same type of groove. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was coming from that area. That Minnesota vibe, it was like a feel to them. Everybody was good with percussion. The songs were kind of weird. I wasn't the greatest guy as far as liking that music, but it had its place. Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon. Y'all know the whole little vibe. Well, Oak Tree, 1 and 1 makes 2. Oak Tree, spread your rent head, you know what to do. That's my jam. That's that Morris Day and The Time. I'm sorry. That's my jam, man. I'm sorry. But Prince was one of those who, at the time, everybody wanted Prince and Michael Jackson to beef. And in media, you know how this goes. Just like Tupac and Biggie. It was about the beef. It sells records. We just had it with Kendrick Lamar. Come on now. And Drake. It sells beef. Throw in J. Cole. The beef, it sells. Well, actually, you know, Biggie and Pac was cool. And so were Prince and Michael Jackson. They had moments where they were on camera together, and it's all about selling records. You know, act like they don't like each other, but these were two of the biggest pop icons at the time. And they were on counteractive type of, they were on different ends of the spectrum. Michael Jackson was the king of pop. That's what he did. Started a group, Brothers did what they had to do, you know what I'm saying? Prince did something different. Prince was more flashy, more that, what do they want to call it? When the guys in neurotic, it was more neurotic thing, you know what I'm saying? Like Charlie Murphy said, that's when, the dude that dressed most like a lady was getting all the ladies. Peace to Charlie Murphy, you know what I'm saying? But in true Hollywood stories, I love that, man. Another laugh for Charlie Murphy. But they really were on the same wavelength as conquering the airwaves. They were putting out top 10 hit after top 10 hit. They were going gold, they were going platinum, and they were putting music out that made you feel what was really going on. So with that being said, the first subject, really quick, I'm going to put out just a little, throw this out. They had messages in their music that nobody really was digging or understanding because we were too busy grooving to it. We didn't really get the message in it. Back in 1982, Prince put out a song. I'm just going to read some of the words to it. 2000, party over, it's out of time. Tonight we gonna party like it's 1999. Y'all know what song that is. Now, listen to the lyrics, because we as party, we didn't think about it. At the time, Prince was talking about how that 2K thing was supposed to go. When it came, we all rushed out, like Bernie Mike said, buying potted meat and water. Everybody's buying potted meat and water. Rushing, letting people tell you the word was going in. So that's basically what Prince was on. Prince was like, look, 2000, party over, it's out of time. That's that Y2K. He was telling you about that before it actually happened. I'm going to party like it's 1999, meaning that he was telling you that 1999 was going to be the last year that things was going to be the way they was and get your party on. If you think about it, he was right. Because we entered the 2000s and things have completely changed. We're in a different century. We kind of switched over to a different millennium. It's not the same thing anymore. The 21st century is so different than the 20th century. Back then in the 90s, there were a lot more things you could do as far as freely, as far as showing affection to people, as far as the way you did your music. We weren't all out there all willy-nilly. Like, you had freedom to do music, but you had restraints on what you could say and what you could do. There were people watching over things and making sure they had a rating system so things didn't go too over the top. I think back then it was more respect for the opposite sex as well. More respect for things you were doing and the way you live life. Now, once we crossed over the 2000s, everything just flipped the script. It's like, man, people out here wilding. I ain't saying it wasn't going to happen, but progression is a mug. It's like people start tripping, the things they do, the things they say, the way they react to everything. And the fact that Prince said he's going to party like it's 19, he said he's going to party like it was the last year of something important. Now, y'all can take that as lyrics, but to me, that is a message. As far as he was like, look, this is how this is going to go. Y'all understand? Be careful out here. 2000 coming. We might not get the party like we're supposed to. And he was right about that. So now I'm going to hit y'all with this. Now I'm going to go deep into Michael Jackson. Prince is another issue, and I'll get into him later. But I'm going to dig deep into the psyche of Michael Jackson. Because Michael was one of the greatest R&B artists, if not the greatest pop artist of all time. Some people are going to argue Elvis. What? No, it was Michael Jackson. It was MJ. So, but Michael had so many circumstances around him that were so crazy. It's conspiracy theories. It's things about what they alleged he did. But Michael always put a message in his music, and a lot of people didn't understand that. Michael was putting messages in his music on a regular basis. But in order for me to go into Michael's message in his music, you know how I am. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am an allegedly, I'm a master in allegedly. I'm a master in alleged. That's what I do at the last sip. I don't spill tea, but I research. I see, y'all understand? I do hours of research. I read, and yes, I Google stuff. I go into things, and I try the best I can to understand what's really going down with all these situations. Because I don't want to have people out here, especially fact checkers, like, where you get it? No, I literally have things that I research and look up, and it is what it is. So you take everything with a grain of salt. Because like I said, I'm not here to spill tea, but I will take the last sip, so this is my commentary on it. With that being said, now, you know Michael Jackson, Michael Joseph Jackson, was born in Gary, Indiana. Did music with his brothers. You know, they came up, Motown sound, you know, and he had all kind of dealings with Elizabeth Taylor and Diana Ross, and you know how he was about Berry Gordy and you know and just oh, let me get it right. Come on, y'all. I'm sitting there stuck right now. Who's the other guy? Somebody get in my books. The other guy, Berry Gordy. Who's the other guy? Motown. So I can't remember anymore. See that? Brain fart. But you know how he was about his people at Motown. He was crazy about him. He was crazy about him. As he got older, Quincy Jones. As he got older, he got to deal with Quincy Jones. But Berry Gordy was the guy that really kind of put him on down at Ross and all of them. And Michael was deep into music and messages. Now, if you remember, when Michael was young, Michael was more about doing things as brothers. They sung a lot of love ballads and love songs. So he sent messages out about love. Who's loving you? That when I want you back, just call my name, I'll be there. So basically it was just random stuff that they were doing, little kid love, lollipop type things. But as Michael got older, things started to change. Now, Michael, here's the thing about Michael. I'm going to tell you a story about Michael real quick. Allegedly, there's a rumor about Michael. And the reason I'm bringing this up because this is when Michael's music, to me, started to change. Now, Michael had been writing music, you know, doing what he do, you know what I'm saying, with his brothers. Michael was a big visitor of Studio 54. That was Michael's thing. Michael loved Studio 54. Michael was a partier. He was a get up and go guy. This is after, you know, he was leaving his brothers and stuff. Michael handled business. Michael loved to party, loved to kick it, loved to get down. And so Michael loved to hang out. The thing about Michael was that Michael partied with everybody and anybody, from what's understood. He was an outgoing character. I mean, he was making millions, making money. Why wouldn't you? Well, allegedly, Michael Jackson, in 1979, Michael Jackson took a trip to Vegas. While in Vegas, Michael was partying, and Michael partied a little bit too hard. Now, remember, I said this is allegedly. So for all y'all here look and say, well, he said, no, I said allegedly. Yes, I did look this up. Yes, I researched some things. So I'm not saying this is true fact. That's why it's called allegedly. Allegedly, Michael Jackson supposedly had an overdose in Vegas in 1979. Now, allegedly, powers that be went to Joseph Jackson and let Joe know that Michael had a situation where he basically was unalived. He told Joe, knowing that Michael was a bread and butter of that whole squad, that if it comes out, you and your boys got to go back to Gary, Indiana. And you got boys and mouths to feed, and you got a wife, y'all going to be back where y'all's at poor. Now, allegedly, now remember I said, I'm going to say it again, allegedly, supposedly they had a bunch of copycat mics where they found different people to fill in for Mike. That's why a lot of videos and tours and stuff, Mike was further away. You couldn't never see nothing up close. They were doing this supposedly because at this time, remember, at this time, we were starting to deal with cloning. Now, this, like I said, this is allegedly, so I'm just getting this out. We were starting to deal with cloning. Well, from what it's being said is, Vegas didn't want Michael Jackson's death to be put on them because don't forget, supposedly that's where Elvis had his downfall too. And they cannot afford to have two of the greatest legends of music die in the same city. It'd have been, think about it, it'd have been crushing for Vegas. That would have destroyed Vegas' whole aura if you found that both of your legends of music died in Vegas. Well, supposedly, they had a bunch of dummy Michaels doing what they were doing. And like I said, allegedly, but if you guys look at these impersonators, there's a lot of guys out here that look and sound like Michael, for real, seriously. Well, they had to figure out how they were going to switch Mike on with the clone when the clone was done. Supposedly, during the Pepsi commercial, the spark that caught Michael's hair on fire was for them to get him to the hospital so that they can switch out Michael with the clone Michael. Like I said, this is not something that's true fact. I don't know. You can dig it up if you want to. I'm saying allegedly, this is what's being said by some people that were in the industry. Like I said, there's some people, like I said, I wasn't there. You know, I don't know. 1979, I went number 4. I was going on 5 years old, 1979. So I don't know. This is just from researching. Well, supposedly when Michael went to the hospital, there was not a bunch of people allowed around him and things like that, and they switched Michael out. Now, here's the kicker that got me. I'm not saying it's true, so I keep saying the word allegedly. But if anybody noticed, Michael did start to get lighter. He had problems with his nose, which is the weirdest thing. And now what we know about the government coming out talking about aliens and stuff and everything, and talking about cloning animals and meat. And I've seen it where they do the 3D thing as far as like how you can make items on the computer 3D, whatever. They are doing the same thing with meat. I saw this. This is so crazy. I'm doing an episode on that as well. But supposedly, when Michael came out and everything was done and dandy, it was not actual Michael Jackson, it was somebody else. Now, also allegedly, supposedly, recently they found Michael Jackson's body, the actual Michael dead, before Michael passed. Suppose they actually found the real Michael Jackson's body somewhere in Neverland. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if all this is true. I'm just giving it to you. I did that for a reason. Now, with all that being said, if y'all noticed, after Michael supposedly had his situation, we'll exit that out. But it was important to know that because what I'm going to is going to feed into that. So what ended up happening was, if you think about this, Michael started to change the way he made music. Michael was no longer a partier anymore. Think about this. Michael didn't party anymore with anybody. Michael was more of a homebody. He started to change his music up. And if you guys notice, Michael music went from party, lady this, lady that, let's do it, to start, music would start to warn people. It started to become warnings. It started to become anthems of lifetime labels. And I'll go down some of it. Okay, do you guys remember Billie Jean? Billie Jean was a song based upon somebody trying to say Michael was the father of a child that was not his. He was not, the kid is not my son. That's something we deal with today, right now. We deal with a lot of people, either men or women, dealing with birth and paternity and the way things are going. Because now, you know, if you sign your name on a birth certificate as a father, you start paying child support. Even though you're not that child's father, you still can be liable to pay child support. Then they don't really care about us. Think about this. They don't really care about us. Michael, basically, if you've seen the video, it shows different areas of poverty, different areas of war. Michael was putting little anthems out there that were speaking on things that are going on right now. They're going on very perversely, very profoundly. They're going on like seriously right now. They don't really care about us. He's talking about the government, talking about the different things, the different wars that were to come. Man in the Mirror. Michael was talking about looking in the mirror, seeing yourself, and changing yourself. There was things about us that we have that are affecting the world and the way we do things and how we interact with people that are changing the world around. So he said, no matter what we do, I'm looking for a better place, but I need to take a look in the mirror and make that change. Like I said, all these songs you guys listen to are anthems. Y'all just nobody's actually how many of you actually dug into the words and listened to this? Here's the one that got me the most. And this is what the subject is going to be based on to carry it out. Michael did a song called Human Nature. Reaching out, and then you listen to words, for someone to hold me tonight. If the world of apple, I want to take a bite. Why? Tell me it's just human nature. Those are just little random words here and there, scattered here and there. Michael was basically talking about how people act and how they treat each other. He was also talking about how when you come in impact with people, come in contact with them, they can't help but do certain things because it is human nature. Yo, Michael spoke on things that are impacting us right now that are destroying the world. Impacting us right now that are destroying people. Y'all have heard me get on here and talk about how people don't look out for each other or do for each other and stuff. And like I said, there's certain races, like people make fun of Chinese people, they make fun of Asian people, they make fun of Mexican people, but they always are looking out for each other. Michael broke so much stuff down in this one song that I don't think anybody realized what he was talking about. If you go through the song and hear his lyrics, there are certain words that come to mind that you can take out of the dictionary or the source and get from what he was saying. So what I did was I went through the dictionary today, the source, and I picked certain words that explains kind of go hand in hand with what Michael was talking about. Because the things we do are just human nature. It's human nature to want to succeed. It's human nature to want to excel. It's human nature to want to have more than what your family had. But how are we using that human nature? How are we impacting with their human nature? So the words I'm going to give you today are going to be based upon human nature and how we are proceeding about going about it, how we are destroying each other, how we're not getting the whole objective of trying to succeed and make the world a better place. Like I said, just, we are the world, heal the world. He had so many things that he was saying to people before he passed away. Even the death of Michael was a conspiracy. Because he was such an important figure, you have to examine every part of his life. So with that being said, I'm going to go to word number 1. Inclusion. Inclusion is the action of being included in a structure or group. The practice or policy of providing equal opportunity. One of the issues we have right now as a community is we do not allow equal opportunity to each other. We do not have inclusion. We do not have inclusion on the way we disperse money. We do not have inclusion on the way we police things. We do not have inclusion on the way we issue out jobs. We do not have inclusion on the way we work in the educational system. Because it is human nature to exclude some things that should have ultimate inclusion. So there you're going to need your thesaurus, because I'm going to hit you deep with a lot of things today. So if the action of being, if inclusion means the action of being placed into a structure or a group, why do we segregate everything we do? Churches, jobs, who we hang out with, where we eat at. We put everything in groups and clusters and categories because it's human nature to do so. Because you figure out that some things aren't for you. Exclusion is not a bad thing. But when you take that exclusion and start to use it to make a negative impact on things, it becomes an issue. And that is part of human nature. Power, ability to do something or act a certain way, capacity or ability to direct or influence behaviors of others or the course of events. Power. That is why inclusion is important to some people, because power is what it is. If you get enough people included into the group or the structure that you're in, you gain power. I just told you what power was. Power is a capacity to have an impact and influence on events and people. Y'all notice what governments do to us every day? Now that's what people at your job do to you every day. Now that's what people in society do every day. I had a lady come to the gas station today, and she thought she had a little power over me. I'm a lowly gas station worker. So I'm outside doing something or cleaning something for somebody else, and because of her thinking that she was better than me and them, she decided to assert some type of power, some type of influence, because she makes a little bit more money. She was what I call Grey Poupon. She was upper crust. And she inserted her power to get me to take care of her before anyone else. And you know what that power gets you? That power gets you, my next word, that power gets you privilege. Privilege is a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available to particular people. There are too many people out here acting like they privileged. You hear to get a license is not a privilege. To get your license is a blessing. It's a blessing, not a privilege. It is a right, not a privilege. because you have the right to get a license. You don't have to be privileged to get a license. If you take the test and pass, you get a license. That's your right. But we have some people out here that are so privileged because they get power. When you have power, you become privileged. You are able to step above and beyond other people. You are able to do things. You are able to have immunity and advantages in certain things. Certain people don't get arrested. Certain people don't wait in lines. Certain people don't have to worry about getting paid cash at work because they have big bank accounts and people know them, so they're able to get loans at banks. Privilege is something that's becoming a big issue in the world, period. Because there are things like I'm around people that can't go to hospital because they're not privileged enough to have that type of insurance. Some areas, if you have state insurance, you can't go to the hospital in your town if it's a smaller town because they only take privileged people, which I mean is they only take that company insurance. Everybody can afford that. It's a privilege to have that. They say it's a right. It's not a right to get insurance in your job. It's a privilege. You have to be able to afford that insurance. It's not even right to get insurance from the state any longer. That's a privilege. If you make too much, you can't get state insurance, but you don't make enough so you can't get insurance from your job. It's a privilege to have that insurance. That's an issue because privileged people get all the power, but it's just human nature. Like Michael says, human nature. If you are a privileged person, you're able to step in front of people. You're able to cut the line. You're able to, in life, able to step a couple of notches up because you're privileged. And when you're privileged and to know the people that have the power, if you know people that have power, it gives you inclusion, which makes you privileged. See how these words all come together? Notoriety. State of being famous, well known for a bad deed or quality action. The reason people hang with you, if they think you're going to be about something, is because they want the notoriety. Oh, I know that. I was down with that person. So what they think is going to happen is because they have inclusion with you from the notoriety they have with you, they'll be privileged enough to live off of your power. See how all these words come together. They all mean something. Because of your notoriety, because I know you, and you have enough power, and you include me in your situation, I'm going to be privileged. That is why people won't share your posts. That's why people don't put you on. That's why people won't include you in things they're doing. If they don't think they can get notoriety from you or some type of privilege from you, they don't use their power to make you inclusive in their situation. Because it does nothing for them. That's why we have so many homeless people and poverty-driven people, because they don't have enough notoriety for somebody to do something. There's people that can help homeless people, but they don't help me. You know why? Because they're not going to give enough notoriety out of it. That is why sometimes we have issues with spiritual, because you feel if it doesn't help put you on a pedestal in front of people to get the notoriety, you won't include people to help them. See, all these things have been used for the bad term: power, inclusion, notoriety, privilege. These are all words that don't have to be used in negativity, but they are because of the type of people we are. Because as Michael says, it is just human nature. My last word is pride. Deep pleasure of satisfaction derived from one's own achievement, pleasure in the success of someone you are closely associated with. Did you hear what I just said? That is the main issue I have right now with us as people. Not as people as far as my culture, but as people in general. Because if I do something, here we go, we're going to knock them all together. If you make me inclusive in your group, you're going to get some notoriety from that. Now, when you get that notoriety, people are going to know who you are, which is going to give you a little bit of privilege. With that privilege comes power. And from all that, you get pride from it because you know what? I did that for him. I'm the one that set him up. Oh, you know that guy? Notoriety. He knows me. He came from me. Yeah, I got my chest out. I did that. That's the issue, people. And all this together is all because we live in a human nature state of mind. Michael said it in the song. Why? Telling us it's human nature. Why do they do me this way? Why do they treat me this way? He was saying a message, people. Michael was a celebrity going through a lot of different things and people never thought about it because they was busy grooving to his songs. But all the words I gave you come from human nature. So think of putting all that in the ball and having to be a celebrity and dealing with that every single day. Yeah, he was privileged. He had power, but he was influential. That is a big word for you. Influential. It's to make an impact on something and change it because of you, because of the things you can do. That's a positive word. That is positive. When you are influential, you can knock everything out. You can knock out inclusion. You can knock out pride, power, notoriety, and privilege. Because when you are that person that's influential, you are making a difference in the change in someone's life. If you're a social media influencer, you're supposed to be influencing someone to do something with their life. If you are a person of power and you are influential, you can knock out everything else. Because when you're influential, that means you include people. That means you're not worried about the notoriety or the pride because your whole goal is to influence someone to do something better with their lives and become something impactful. I told you where I was going with this today. Michael Jackson was so amazing with the music he made that he sent secret messages in every single song. And it all comes down to human nature. No matter what he did, no matter what he sung about, Human Nature was the one song that could take all of his songs and cram them into it and explain what he was trying to say about everything else. Dirty Diana. Everybody thinks about Diana Ross. No, it was not. It's about Elizabeth Taylor. No, it was not. Dirty Diana was just a song about some female who tried to take him out of a situation with someone else he was involved with and do things with them. Maliciously trying to move him around. That's part of human nature. Somebody wants what you have. That's human nature. That's all that is. Human nature. See, y'all, the things Michael said and did were amazing. Michael wasn't just an amazing artist. Michael was a storyteller. Michael was what I call a future speaker. And I'm going to break that down for you. He was someone that spoke about things that could happen in the future. Now, they happen daily, every day with people, even back then. But for some reason, Michael knew that as we got older and as time would come on, from what he was saying, it would get more ratchet, more worse. And he was correct. Human nature is the reason people do the things they do. Human nature is the reason people hate each other. Human nature is the reason people stab each other in the back. Human nature is the reason people act a certain way. And the words I gave you sum it all up because all of those are factors of human nature. Regardless of what you've been through, how you've done it, how someone else has acted with you, how someone has betrayed you, how someone's talked to you, how someone's treated you, how someone's loved you. You all have the same human nature inside of you. It's just up to you to change it and be more influential. And like Michael said, don't always be using just regular human nature.
In nature.
Y'all, another applause for that. I want to thank y'all so much.
Shop to in nature. Internal closing.
A lot going on right now, as y'all can tell. So we all right. Just had the power go down for a second, but we all good. But like I said, you guys, it's all about human nature. Remember that. It's all about being influential, being positive. So before I leave you today, there's something I gotta say to you that I ain't said in a long time. We have the last drip. Now the last drip is basically a segue to a little subject I have. It's basically something I do at the end of the show. I used to. I'm gonna bring it back. And it's gonna be a subject that is just either sometimes funny or sometimes, well, that's what they get. And today's last drip. There's a story that came across my feed on social media. Now, if you watch Shula King, he talked about it as well. You know, he likes to make jokes. Shula King, if you ever seen him, if you haven't seen him, if you have seen him, funny comedian. Some people say he's the next Bernie Mac. The guy does side-by-side split comedy videos. Hilarious. You got to check him out, Shula King. Well, the story goes there's a father whose young daughter was getting harassed at school. Now, I think the daughter was special education. And she was getting harassed at school. Now, the young lady that was harassing her had been called to the office. The father had been to the school and talked to the school about it. He had also talked to the other parents about it. This had been occurring continuously. He had spoken on it. He decided to leave it alone, let the school handle it, keep going. Well, the situation kept recruiting. It never stopped. It kept occurring, never stopped. So I'm going to tell you what this father did. Don't laugh, but it's kind of funny. The father, now having warned the school and the parents and getting tired of it going on, the father got his brothers and they went over to the other parents' house and put the foots down. That's right, they danced all over dude's body. Yeah, they put that on him. They gave him one. They said the kiss of death. And so what ended up happening was they beat this guy up. I mean, they put the foots to him. They stumped the mess out of him. So what ended up happening was they come home and the guy posts a video. And what he said was, until his daughter's done being picked on by this other guy's daughter, this may happen again. Yeah, he put the... So what I have to say about this is this. Two wrongs don't make a right. But two rights can make a left. Left hook, that is. The way he put it on, dude. Y'all, the moral of the story is this. You may not be able to control the actions of certain people, but you need to learn how to control your children. I'm not saying what dude did was right, him or his family, by going over there and putting their hands on this other guy. But think if you're a parent and you have a young child, especially a disabled young child, how would you feel if someone was continuously bullying your child? You went to the school district, you went to the school itself, you talked to the parents, man to man, woman to woman, and you're getting nothing resolved. Like I said, I'm not saying this is right. Would I have done it? I'll be honest. Until I'm in that situation, I couldn't tell you yes or no. And for those of you right now that don't have no kids, so I don't think I would have did it, or if you've never been in that situation, you don't know how that parent felt. But to have your child come home every day hapless, hopeless, and unable to defend themselves, as a parent, it really hurts you. And your main goal as a parent is to protect your child. So for all y'all out there that are doing stuff like that, I will not condone it. But guess what? I will salute you. Want to thank y'all for joining me tonight. That's been my show. You guys have been great, man. I appreciate everybody that follows me on Facebook. Everybody that follows me on YouTube. You guys should go to my Facebook. Go into my information. There is a subscription, 99 cents a month, get you exclusive content from me. Like I said, man, I ain't been in the pod game that long. I've been on social media for a while. Just getting my bearings with me. Sometimes I might mess up, might talk a little too fast, might not say the right things, but y'all get the gist of it, man. One thing about me is I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep everything in there, all the footage there, because if you ain't real, you ain't nothing. And that's just how I feel about it. I want to give shouts out to my son, Untitled, for my theme song, Untitled by Untitled. You guys check him out. He's got an EP coming out. Also, you can get on his page, Untitled. Even going to my videos on Motivational Muscle 74 on YouTube. Go to my like videos on my playlist. In the playlist that says The Last Sip, you'll see his video there as well. You guys have been awesome and great. Also, I have a special announcement to tell you. Special announcement, y'all. On Tuesday, I will have a panel, a live open panel, where I'll be discussing an amazing topic. My topic will be on education, special education, and how to help the educational system. I have a couple of people that are in the industry as far as doing things with children. I have a couple of parents tuning in. Y'all, if you guys don't tune in to the other show I got, you got to tune into that one. It's going to be very big time. It's very important. I am an advocate for disabled children, children with autism, children with Down syndrome, just the education of children, period. I am so down for that because I think that is something that's been lost in our communities, that's been lost in our nation. We've got to make sure we're taking care of these kids, man. With that being said, much love to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, every Tuesday, every Thursday, The Last Sip. Peace.
Listen. I've been working on my craft and I've been studying my culture, taking everything I need. I'm coming like a vulture. I'm supposed to be a part of history. I'm understanding. It's starting to make sense to me. I took a minute, had to sit back, relax, and then I recapped. I'm praying to myself I won't go have another relapse.